Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is Nosheen Mukhtar, and you're watching the Power Talk Show. Today, with me is my wonderful friend Rahaf Kobesi, and we're going to
Hello.
talk about some very wonderful things today. Hello, Rahaf. How are you?
Hi, Nushin. Happy Thursday.
Thank you so much. I'm so looking forward to Friday.
We
What are
all
your
are.
Friday plans?
I'm going to the beach.
Oh, wow. That's wonderful. Breezy.
Self-care day. Yeah.
Yeah, sunbathing. Okay, great. All right, good plan. So today we are going to talk about how we can stay positive. Why do we get negative thoughts, and what to do when we get negative thoughts? You know, your negative thoughts can never make you positive. They will only make you smaller and unhappier. And hence, it's very important for you to understand why you're having those negative thoughts and what to do with them. So, while we begin with this discussion, I'd like you to say hello in the comments and introduce yourself. We already have Zen saying hi. Hello, Zen. Nice to have you here. We also have Naveed Mustafa, who's Springman. Hi, Naveed. How are you?
Nice. Hi.
Thank you, Zen. We are going to discuss it in detail, and we want everyone to share their insights and their experiences with us. What are some of the negative thoughts that bother you? Why do you have those negative thoughts? Do you think about why you're having these thoughts? Do you try to control them? Please answer these questions in comments and let us know what you are doing about things when they are bothering you. Hello, Komla Tante. Thank you for joining us here. Sorry, I'm not very familiar with your name, so you should forgive me if I say it incorrectly. Hello, Muhammad Javed. Thank you for joining us. Hello, Faiza. Yes, it is an excellent topic, and this is a beautiful picture. You're looking fabulous today. Yes, Rahaf. So, what are
Mm.
negative thoughts and why do they bother us?
Well, that's a very common question. Negative thoughts are we are a human being at the end of the day, so we are prone to thinking in a negative way. It could come because of the culture, how we were raised. We had very critical parents, so the reasons are really different, and we can't just put one finger on that exact reason. It's just that when we are aware that we're being negative to ourselves, like I'm mostly interested today to talk about how to change our tone when we talk to ourselves, like from self critique to a self compassionate. Because once that skill we master it, things
Hmm.
start to change with us. And things will start taking a turning point no matter how negative the situation is. So, a lot of people have this misconception that I want to be 100% positive. I want to be all the time positive. And then I tell them this is not realistic. So, let's be
Hmm.
realistic. It's all here in the mindset. Once we master the skill of changing the tone and the voice and the language and the the critical environment here into a more compassionate one, that's when the magic happens. And that's when we will be more able to reframe our thoughts from where they are to where we want them to be. In this case, from a negative one into a positive one.
Okay, so what are some of the techniques that we can use to challenge and reframe our negative thoughts?
Well, this is a skill that the more we do it, the more it serves us. Um, Let me give you an example. There are plenty of exercises, and all of them, I really want to highlight this. It needs practice. Weeks after weeks after weeks, consistency, no matter what exercise it is. You cannot just do it for 3 days and then say, no, it did not work with me. So it's a dose dependent. The more we practice it, the better we get at it. So let me give you just one exercise that I do it on a daily basis, which is keeping a self-compassion journal, which it could be like this, a
Okay,
journal. Keep it with you and write on that journal anything that makes you feel bad about yourself. Anything.
okay,
And I'm pretty sure that once we put our thoughts and efforts into finding those bad things, it's going to be a long list. Anything we judge ourselves on, anything we experience difficulty in a difficult way in our daily lives, or that cause us pain or stress or frustration. We put them on a list, and then for each event or each thing, we start practicing our kindness or sense of connectedness to our humanity, being mindful to each one of them in a more self-compassionate way. How does that work? So when I come to you, Nasheen, and I tell you, oh my God, I feel like a failure today, you come and tell me, no, Ray, don't say that about yourself. You're smart, you're hardworking, you're good. That tone we use with our friends or colleagues or family or peers or anyone else when they are in this situation, just imagine the impact that it will leave on us if we use the same tone with ourselves. So instead of
Right.
saying I'm not good enough, I could just say I'm doing my best. Tomorrow I
Yeah,
will do better.
that is
So
one good
that's
way.
one
One
simple
comment.
exercise that can really make a huge difference.
Great. Thank you so much for this insight. Definitely, some of us should practice through this exercise to benefit from it. Here is one comment from Mushtaq Ali. He says, negative thoughts could be perceived failure, or could be due to lack of confidence, or it's clearly personality trait of the pessimistic.
Neither. It's neither. It's
It
a
could be
practice,
situation
it's a
also.
habit. And negative thinking is the cause of some failures in our lives or the lack of confidence or being a pessimistic. Now, when we think negatively about something, automatically our mind is, from their perception, the mind is trying to protect us from danger. So he keeps on bombarding us with these kind of comments that to make us think of the worst case scenarios. All the what ifs in the world we start thinking about, and we completely forget about the best case scenario. So when we the first step, Noshin, is not basically doing anything except being aware and to recognize that we're having a bad thought and try to make the like the first thing that I would work on, which is a technique that works on our ants, the automatic thoughts, negative ones, is identifying, is this a fact or just my assumption or just my feelings or just my perception of the, is this a fact or my opinion? So like Faiza said, it's how we train our brain. Like, why would people put so much effort and so much money in getting those abs and biceps, but we don't do that with our mind?
Yeah,
If you remember, Nasheen, when I got with you live during the pandemic, there were two kinds of people: those who made the best out of the situation, and those who just gave up. Like, no, 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 the pandemic is really bad. It's affecting my
yeah,
family. It's affecting my relationships. It's affecting everything. Well, other people, it took them maybe some time to adapt to the new situation, but through their mindsets, they were able to see the good in it. I have more time to work on things I have been putting on hold, to read the books that I want to connect to the people I haven't been talking to for a while, maybe learning a new habit, learning a new hobby, getting on this online course I have been wanting to. It's how
yeah.
we train our minds to see things, identify where I can improve. Like, okay, maybe when it comes to public speaking, for example, instead of using that tone, next time I will be more mindful of my tone. But today I did my best. Instead of saying you failed, you're not good enough, look at those people looking at you, they're making fun of you. So your mind is trying to trick you into always being in the danger zone. When you take control back through these daily exercises, your mind will not have the power on you anymore. You will have the
Right.
power even in the worst case scenarios.
So our talk with ourselves, what we tell ourselves about us and about our performance is also included in building negative thoughts. So if we are indulging in positive self-talk, we are less likely to have negative thoughts, and that will automatically have a healthier effect on our mindset.
Yes, 100%. Because once we challenge our critical self talk and reframe our negative thoughts, we are also changing how we relate to each other on the long term. So, to give you a very common example, Machine, when we decide to work out, 90% or 85% of the people going to the gym, they come from a place where I'm too fat, I want to lose weight, I want my body to be a good summer body. Only 10% would look at it in a way where, you know what, I love my body so much that I want to take care of it even more.
Yeah.
Same action, different perception. So the ones who are going to the gym just to lose weight or just because they're fat, there will not be progress. They will not be enjoying the process or the journey. While the other people, when they accept themselves who they are and they love them, it's coming out of love, from a place of love. It's coming from a place of compassion. It's coming from a place of kindness. The process or the journey, even if it took longer, but it will be enjoyable. That's
Yes.
the
True.
difference. So that's why it's so important on how to learn the skills and mindset tools to be able to do that, because it affects our businesses, it affects our relationships, it affects our family day-to-day interactions, and it affects the way we see our world.
Yes, of course.
So it's
So, how can
everything
we
basically.
change the self critique language? Some of these tips you've already shared, but we would like to have some more. How can we change our self critique language? How can we stay more positive? How can we become more self compassionate?
Well, one, you could sign up for my Powerful Hero program, or
Okay.
now I'm going to talk more about this program, because this powerful hero was made for this purpose, because I was an expert in overthinking machine.
Oh,
Anything in
wow.
the world, I would overthink it. Not 10 times, 100 times. I would overanalyze. I would just take myself to the worst case scenarios. So ex- to just imagine the impact a person can do with the same intensity and the same power, but in a positive way. One tip is just practice. Even if these two exercises or two examples I just gave out,
Yes, I'm here.
when
Don't
we
worry. I'm
practice
sharing the
them
link.
on a daily basis, are you still here?
Yeah, yeah, I'm still here. I'm
Oh,
just
okay.
going to share the link.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. So these two exercises or these two tips, when they are done on a daily basis, oh, the magic that you will be creating. Yes, it will take some time, but again, it's coming from a place of love. It's coming from a place of compassion. I would highly suggest and encourage each one of you right now to work on your inner critique voice or negative thinking by writing it in a journal. Some people or some of the clients that I work with would be more comfortable to do this internal dialogue through a voice note. So they would record their voices while they're being overthinking or negative thinking, and then try to reframe it into a more compassionate voice, because this technique also allows you to listen to what you're thinking in a much louder voice. Once you hear that, you would be able to reframe it in a much more compassionate voice. Um, if your problem is with consistency, I would highly encourage you to work with someone who could help you along the way and the journey. But at the end of the day, whatever method or technique or tool you follow, do whatever works for you. At the end of the day, you're doing this for yourself. So that's
Right.
what I would encourage. Writing it in a journal, trying to say it out loud, speak out loud to yourself or silently. But when you say it out loud, you would listen to yourself. Why am I saying that to myself? Why am I being mean to myself?
Yeah.
And if not, if your problem is maybe with consistency, like I know that I won't be able to commit to this journal or to this reframing, I would highly suggest that you work with a coach.
Okay, great. There is one question from someone. It's Mushtaq. He's saying, "Is our mental health primarily is our mental health a prime cause of negative thoughts?" I think this is what he means. Like depression, anxiety, automatic followed by negative thoughts. Without going to therapist, can we overcome it?
Um, that's a very good question. So they come hand in hand, the negative thoughts or the mental illness. Now, mental illness history or the causes are really, it's a lot of things more than negative thinking. So it's not mental illness. It's a huge word to say mental illness. I would say just being someone who is trying to challenge their mental health through their negative thinking. Because mental illness, it could be abuse or trauma or depression or loneliness, discrimination, the stigma. These are the mental illness, the causes for it. So this is a huge topic. It's very important that we know the difference. Now, is it the primary cause of negative thoughts? It is one big cause, yes, not the primary one, but it is one major common issue that all of us, all the human beings suffer from, which
Yeah.
leads to depression and anxiety and the low self-esteem. Going to a therapist, now also here we should know the difference between a therapist and a coach. So a therapist will help you deal with your traumas from the past, and a coach will focus on your present and the future. So completely different experts for completely two different problems. Yes, you can deal with your overthinking alone without the help of a coach, but that also depends on how skillful you are, how consistent you are, and how objective you are when it comes to your negative thinking. Because a lot of clients that I work with would come from a place, yes, this is a fact, when it's not. It's not a fact that you are a failure. It's not a fact that I look ugly. These are not facts. These are just voices in our heads. Um, so it's very critical. Yes, it is doable only and only if you are truly being true to yourself. So, and consistent. I hope that answered your question, Mushtaq.
Yes, it is a very good answer. I'd like you guys to ask us more questions related to how you are working on positive thinking. What kind of negative thoughts do you get very often? How do you deal with them? What kind of tips do you expect from us to share with you today while we are talking about mental health, about thinking positively, and about controlling stress and anxiety? Yes, so tell us more about the Powerful Hero program. For how long is it, and what is included in the program?
So my Powerful Here program it's a 4 month program. It's coaching program for executives and leaders who have achieved a lot, who have been successful in their careers and their lives, but there's also this nagging voice at the back of their head saying you should do more, or you're still not good enough, or you're not lovable enough, something like that. You do not deserve to be fill in the blanks. You do not deserve to be fill in the blanks. So this small group coaching program basically will bring together these heroes. I call them heroes, and we work together on how to overcome this inner obstacle that is holding them back from even achieving more. We will all be committed to each member's mission or to each hero's mission to transform their mindsets and their lives from where they are to where they want to be. And it will develop them as someone with a strong desire to break free, like seriously and really to break free from the negative thinking, from the self doubt, from the inner critique. Maybe it's some voice that they have been raised to, and they grew up listening to that voice despite the success and the money that they have done. So it's completely two different things. In this program, we will get a more clarity on that. And whatever or whoever is convincing that person that they're not good enough, we will be working on it. So basically, any member or hero that will get onto the Powerful Hero program, they will learn how to challenge and reframe their negative thoughts. They will learn how to turn their self-critique language into a self-compassionate one, to develop greater confidence and make more impact in their lives, because these kind of heroes that I work with, basically people who want to leave an impact and a legacy, how to express themselves freely without any conflict, how to step out of their comfort zone on a personal level, how to apply a healthier lifestyle. So these are the things that the Powerful Hero program would provide you. Once per week for 2 hours, we will meet and we will
The
have that
sessions are online or
conversation and
offline?
we will create magic. They would be online Zoom, so we give the chance to anyone in the world to join.
which is excellent. Of course, this will give a lot of
Yeah.
people a chance to become a part of the program and benefit from it. So, is this special offer valid only for a few days, or it's going
Yes.
to be here for
So yes.
only
So
today?
for people who are coming to from today's show, because Nushin, I love working with you and I love the people who come from your side. So today's offer is $107
Okay, this is for today. So if you're
just for
going to
today.
plan today, you will have this special price of $107. The actual
Yes.
price is
It's one
$136. So
thirty
you have
six dollars. Yes. So instead of paying $136, you're gonna pay 107 per month, of course, and you will get a complimentary one coaching session, which when we dig deep with me, you get that experience with me as well as a
okay.
complimentary, of course.
Great, great. This is a great offer. So, in order to avail this offer, you can simply visit YesCalf website. I have also left left the link to the course, the program in the comments from where you can reach out to the website and register today. So, Rahaf, how did you think of such a program? Is it your giveaway?
Uh, when I like I work with a lot of business leaders, and all of them are coming from a senior level. So we're talking about CEOs, managing directors, chairmen. I work with those specific people. And then it came to my attention that we could also be working with them in a group, because that would make them see that they're not alone, that they're supported, that there's someone else like them, but in a group. So if we were together and we share our stories, we share our experiences, and at the same time, we know that we're not really doing all of the homework or the assignments or the exercises alone, that will create a higher impact.
Right. It's true,
So
true.
that's where it came from. And I just wanted also, like, it's not exclusive for executive. Anyone could join this group, but it's because you are a business owner yourself, Machine, and you know that the more successful you get, the more pressure you get from your mind as well. So
Mm,
nothing will be ever good enough. Nothing, you always want more, which is not
yes.
wrong. It's ambitious is very important. Having a structure, having something to look forward to is very important, but as well to not beat ourselves up when things doesn't work the way we want them to, or when people tell us like stop being so ambitious or stop spending your money, stop doing that, and then we kind of absorb um, what's being told for us, and we stop taking action. So it's these insights that the powerful hero was created for, because we just want to make it 10 times better.
Yeah, sure. I have a question. How to set up boundaries with negative people? Is there a
Wow.
process that we can
There's
follow?
that's a question that has more than one answers, basically, because it depends on what kind of boundaries. So there are plenty of boundaries. There are physical boundaries, emotional boundaries, time boundaries. It
Right.
depends. But I would suggest or encourage the first step would be to highlight what are we setting boundaries to. So for example,
Let's
if
say,
I have a friend, yeah, give me an example. Yes.
let's say, psychological boundaries,
So what is
where
psychological
people start
boundary? In
in,
what way?
where people start influencing the way you think, the way you feel about yourself, the way you are feeling about your surroundings, and the things that you do. So, how to set up boundaries to stop them from having a negative impact on us?
Hmm. Well, that's a long process, because it's also in parallel, you would be working on your self esteem and on your communication and on how to basically convey the message that you're setting a boundary. But most of the time, it's about using a confident tone with
Okay.
listen, this is not making me feel comfortable. Or
Hmm.
just to give you an example, but of course it takes more than this, but explaining that I'm not comfortable with this, or you're making, or when you do this, so for example, when you behave with me like this, I feel like I'm not good enough, or I feel sad, or I feel bad. So I would really appreciate if you don't do that again. For example, um, just by saying these words, like when you do this, it makes me feel this, the person should be able to understand where you're coming from. Now, if
Right.
not, then of course another approach would be taken, which it could be, it depends on the person and the relationship, but it could be also cutting them off, being very strict with your boundaries, like, listen, I have other priorities to take care of. I appreciate what you have done, but I need to focus on other things. This kind of stuff. It is simple, but it also needs a lot of patience and a lot of it's not expansion. The word that I'm looking for is you have to be open-minded enough to understand that it's
Mm.
your job to set your boundaries, but it's
Okay.
not your job to make them abide to it. Whether they do or not, that's their problem, but you can just cut them off. That's the
Right.
difference, or that's the distinction that a lot of people would fall for. That I tried to set boundaries with that person, but they did not respect it, and they get angry and they get frustrated. And then I was like, you did your part of the job. You communicated your boundaries and you were strict with these boundaries. That's basically it. If that person did not respect that boundary, then it's time to cut them off and to show them that I'm not someone you can fool around or mess with when it comes to my boundaries.
Yeah. True, true. This is a good way. Speaking directly to someone, making them understand that there are boundaries that they need to follow, cutting off if they are not understanding and getting
But
frustrated and
of course, I
they're
just
going to
want to
push.
highlight that while we do that, it's very important that we use the right tone, the right body language, the right time, the right place, and the right words. So
So
it
for this,
wouldn't
they
make
can
sense if I come
definitely,
to you.
anybody who's struggling with setting up boundaries can definitely speak with you one on one,
Oh
and they can
yes, oh
definitely
yeah.
get some tips and
Mhm.
deeper guidelines in order to handle the issue of setting boundaries.
I've set boundaries and cut off people, yani, more than my hair. So I'd be more than happy.
I like this. I like the comparison more than my hair. My hair is a little bit less, but it's okay.
Well, you know what I mean. I do that a lot on my daily basis.
Okay, which is good, and it should be there. Right. What is the right kind of language for self-compassion?
Kindness, the kind words. So it's like when we speak to our best friends, or when we express our um, when we admire something that we see, whether it
Hmm.
was, I don't know, a cute baby, a cute dress, a cute whatever, and we say, oh, that's so cute, or that's amazing, she's beautiful, he's handsome, but we don't use those words with us, with
Right.
ourselves. Like, for
Hmm.
example, I have on my mirror a statement that says, I am enough, with a small heart. So I wake up to it, I sleep reading it. Whenever I go from the house, I look at it and it reminds me I am enough. On good days, it gives me more power and confidence. On bad days, it gives me faith and hope.
Okay.
So, being very kind to ourselves and having at least one mantra or two mantras that is coming from a place of compassion, it changes a lot, especially on stressful days. I have one client, she used to tell me that when I'm stressed, when I'm angry, I don't want to do anything. I was like, that's when you are mostly required to do that thing, because if you want to train your mind, it's like potty training. You can't train your kid to just have a potty training when he's happy or when he's smiling. No, even when you're cranky, my baby, we're going to do the potty training, but
Yeah.
from a place of compassion, not from a place of criticism.
Right. Uh, Mushtaq is adding that personal boundaries of values also help in keeping negative people away. Yes, it's true. Because as soon as you are sure of your values and you're conveying them in your communication with others, definitely it
100%.
will help you set boundaries.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's true.
true.
All right. Thank you so much for being with me today, Rahaf. It was really insightful. I enjoyed our
Thank you, Nasheen.
conversation and I look forward to talk to you more in the coming week.
Yes,
So,
we're going to be having this every Thursday at 3 p.m.
all right, great. See you next time. Take care. Have a good evening.
Bye.
Bye bye.